studio in East Austin, Texas, Electric Deluxe Recorders. I'm going to hit you with a little breakdown of a sample I made for the Hijo de Ramon music library. Shout out to my man Kame1. We're here in the studio. As you can see, I have a lot of analog equipment, a lot of outboard gear, tape machines, whatnot, but do fully embrace VSTs and plugins and whatnot. So I have a fully hybrid setup in here. So I'm going to talk you through a little bit of this track and kind of what went into it. So I'm going to play the track, which is a little over a minute, and you'll get to hear everything, and then I'll break it down from there. Alright, so there you go. I'm going to go ahead and break it down, starting with what I use for the pulse. Usually I put a break beat in there, some sort of break, something to kind of get my head nodding and do the track, but eventually once I start to build it up, I remove that from the mix. So what I started with here was just a basic hi-hat to keep pulse. Put some space echo on it. Just kind of creates a little bit of atmosphere. A little bit of a wood block with some spring reverb. Eventually brought in a tambourine. All those tambourine and wood block hits on the 2 and 4 I think could be cool textures when you put another snare on there. Tried to leave it all super sparse for somebody to add stuff on top. None of this is too intrusive, but definitely creates a little pulse. And space echo just makes everything better. Next thing I added to the groove was the bassline. The bassline is just a DI bass, no amp, no anything, no processing, as you can see. I wanted it to sit right in the mid-range and have a little bit of low end, but not too much where you couldn't do anything on top of this. So. As you can hear, it's kind of old school, kind of mid-rangey, and just that direct signal. So here you have it with it. So that's kind of the nucleus of it all, and just kind of what's all underneath. The main thing you hear, the main melodic element, is mostly piano, as you can see here, vibes, vibraphone, and glockenspiel. I'm going to start that and just see how you hear all these textures coming together. So the vibes and glockenspiel are panned hard left and hard right. The vibes sound a little warmer and woodier, and the glockenspiel a little more high-end information. The piano is separated into 2 tracks. I did that for somebody to have the option if you got stems to. There's that, and then there's the chords also playing underneath. So there's not a ton of processing. All I did on here was use this awesome radiator plugin from Sound Toys to just add a little bit of dirt to those chords. As you can see, both of these are bused to a plate reverb, which is over here. The UAD EMT140 plugin is just super handy. It's a pretty versatile plate, but it's also it just sounds great. We do have a plate reverb in here, but I find myself using this a lot for ease of use. You can see how these are, a lot of things are just buzzed to it to create. Here, I'll just play the plate reverb. A little bit of echo and just atmosphere happening behind it all. There's also a guitar doing that main lick. That's just me with a wah-wah. A little bit of EQ on it. This Soundtoys CQ is one that a lot of friends of mine recommend. To be totally honest, I haven't quite wrapped my head around it, but I always hear people tell me it's good for mid and boosting mid. So as you can see here, I just kind of boosted some of the mids, so that wah-wah guitar sits in a different place than the vibes and the pianos. Now those chords that are answering that melodic thing also have some VST horns here that I use. I add a little bit of decapitator here just to kind of give them some grit. They're not really supposed to stand out too much, but just kind of feel like there's horns back there in the background, so you can hear this response here. Here are the horns. It's mainly trumpet. Again, reverb. You can see how I kind of EQ these a little bit, rolled off the top end so they don't stand out too much. Boosted the mids. Shout out to Logic plugins, all in the box stuff. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, you can see they're all running the plate again. There's another guitar here that's just doing chords. A little bit of CQ once again. I just fully admitted that I haven't wrapped my head around this plugin, but I do use it. There's another guitar that comes in here. Just a little bit of a live element to keep it from sounding so looped and robotic. And eventually, I'll put all the guitars in. There's going to be a fuzz guitar that comes in on the second half just to elevate it just a little bit. And here's the fuzz guitar. I'm a big fan of fuzz guitar, and that always kind of seems to add the right texture. And behind it all, you hear these pads. So the ARP Selena is a early 70s string machine that Arturia actually makes a great replication of a digital version of it that I use a lot, but we do have one in here. So this is an actual ARP Selena. Again, you can see it's buzzed to the plate. Once again, the EMT140. EMT140, you can see I roll off a little bit of the low end just to kind of clear up some space, not have it be too muddy. So here's the ARP Selena underneath it all. Just some light string pads. A big fan of these like kind of early 70s string pads. And then the secret weapon of a bunch of these is have this instrument called a Gitorgan, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a guitar that was modded. These are made in the early 70s to sound like a transistor organ. It's almost like an early version of MIDI or VST. So it has a bunch of switches on there where you can control, almost get different kind of variations of a transistor organ. It's a completely different beast to play. It does not react to your hand that's plucking. It reacts to your hand that's on the frets, and it's very sensitive. So if you move just a hair, it'll actually switch to the next note. So you're going to hear me taking a couple of L's on this one. I left them in there because I kind of wanted the thing to feel live. And on this track, you can see I actually put the Soundtoys. This is another shout out to Soundtoys, but the Soundtoys little plate is a good one to just be able to specifically dial in a plate for that, and ran the Gitorgan through that. But you can hear this is kind of the secret weapon that's behind there. It's a little creepy sounding and just kind of a really unique sound. I use it with a volume pedal, so you can hear these swells. You can hear a little L there. Minor L there. So that's kind of what's gluing the whole thing together. So I'm going to play it one more time and you hear it with everything in there. So yeah, that's walking through almost everything. As you can see, not a ton of processing on this one. Most of the processing, honestly, was running this to a tape machine and the tones that I was actually getting off the instruments into the track. I did, on the master bus here, put this Ampex tape machine. I think it kind of glues everything together. It just adds a little bit more warmth to the mix. So that kind of goes on the final mix bus. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. Drop any comments if you have any questions. Happy to answer. There's no secrets. There's no magic. As you can see, not even a ton of processing here. But kind of down to you. Do and use whatever gets the job done. So thank y'all for listening.